Ayman Abdelaziz Nour is an Egyptian politician, a former member of the Egyptian parliament, founder and chairman of the El Ghad party. He left Egypt following the 2013 Egyptian coup d'état, though he has stated he has gone to Lebanon for treatment of a wound he sustained while in prison and hopes to return to Egypt, candidacy and arrest. Nour was the first man to ever compete against former President Hosni Mubarak for the presidency of Egypt in 2005. He was the first runner-up in the 2005 presidential election with 7% of the vote according to government figures and estimated at 13% by independent observers, although no independent observers were allowed to monitor the elections. Shortly after placing a distant second in what are widely believed to have been corrupt elections, he was imprisoned by Mubarak under allegations of forgery, which have been widely criticized to have been politically motivated and corrupt charges. Nour was released on health grounds on the 18th of February 2009, only a few months before he would have completed his prison sentence. Following the fall of Mubarak in the 2011 revolution, Nour intended to run for the now-vacant presidency, but was disqualified by the Presidential Election Commission. Nour was stripped of his parliamentary immunity and arrested on 29 January 2005. He was charged with forging power to secure the formation of the El Ghad party. Nour vehemently denied the charges. The arrest, occurring in an election year, was widely criticized by governments around the world as a step backwards for Egyptian democracy. Few seem to regard the charges as legitimate. Nour remained active despite his imprisonment, using the opportunity to write critical articles and make his case and cause better known. In February 2005, Condoleezza Rice abruptly postponed a visit to Egypt, reflecting U.S. displeasure at the jailing of Nour, who was reported to have been brutally interrogated. That same month, the government announced the following month that it would open elections to multiple candidates. In March 2005, following a strong intervention in Cairo by a group of members of the European Parliament led by Vice President Edward Macmillan Scott, Nour was freed and began a campaign for the Egyptian presidency. On 24 December 2005 he was sentenced to 5 years in jail. Though diabetic, Nour engaged in a 2-week-long hunger strike to protest his trial. Nour's verdict and sentencing made global headlines and were the first item of news on most international news broadcasts, including the BBC. On the day of Nour's guilty verdict and sentencing, the White House press secretary released the following statement announcing the government's action. The United States is deeply troubled by the conviction today of Egyptian politician Ayman Nour by an Egyptian court. The conviction of Mr. Nour, the runner-up in Egypt's 2005 presidential elections, calls into question Egypt's commitment to democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. We are also disturbed by reports that Mr. Nour's health has seriously declined due to the hunger strike on which he has embarked in protest of the conditions of his trial and detention. The United States calls upon the Egyptian government to act under the laws of Egypt in the spirit of its professed desire for increased political openness and dialogue within Egyptian society, and out of humanitarian concern, to release Mr. Nour from detention. In February 2006, Rice visited Mubarak yet never spoke Nour's name publicly. When asked about him at a news conference, she referred to his situation as one of Egypt's setbacks. Days later, Mubarak told a government newspaper that Rice didn't bring up difficult issues or ask to change anything from prison. Nour stated, "I pay the price when Rice speaks of me, and I pay the price when she doesn't," Nour said. "But what's happening to me now is a message to everybody." In June 2007, President Bush, speaking at a conference of dissidents in the Czech Republic, revisited the issue of Ayman Nour, saying, "There are many dissidents who couldn't join us because they are being unjustly imprisoned or held under house arrest.
I look forward to the day when a conference like this one include Alexander Kozulin of Belarus, Aung San Suu Kyi of Burma, Oscar Elias Bichette of Cuba, Father Nguyen Van Lai of Vietnam, Ayman Nour of Egypt. The daughter of one of these political prisoners is in this room. I would like to say to her, and all the families, I thank you for your courage. I pray for your comfort and strength, and I call for the immediate and unconditional release of your loved ones. I have asked Secretary Rice to send a directive to every U.S. ambassador in an unfree nation. Seek out and meet with activists for democracy. Seek out those who demand human rights. Nour was released on health grounds on the 18th of February 2009. It has been alleged that his release from prison was due to U.S. President Obama demanding his release as a condition to meet with Mubarak.